welcome back. Each year, the National Cattlemen's Foundation, the National Conservation Resource Service, and Dow Agroscience recognizes outstanding farms and ranches who put the environment first. Let's introduce you to this year's national winner of this award.
It's early morning in the Sacramento Valley, and the Wood family is gathering cattle. Daryl and Callie Wood, their son Ramsey, and daughter Dallas work together in the Levitt Lake ranches. They winter their cattle in the warmer climate of the Vina Plains, while their summer operations are located in the higher elevations near Susanville, California.
We do have quite a variety. We run cattle on the public lands, the BLM, high desert country, up to the 6,000 elevation, where it takes 50 acres per cow to be able to go through the summertime, all the way down to the Sacramento Valley where annual rains hit. They were able to run a cow-calf pair for on every 5 acres. Some of our irrigated ground in the high mountain areas will run a cow-calf to an acre for the season. So they're very, very different, all have to be managed carefully.
All three of these ranches here in Lassen County, when we bought them, they weren't in very good shape. Cattle were run year-round and run very hard. So it took us a while to turn it around.
Working to be sustainable, the Wood family built a diversified operation that includes 600 commercial and purebred Angus cows, irrigated hay production, and marketing their own finished beef. Today, Levitt Lake Ranches includes nearly 40,000 acres in a mix of owned, leased, and public lands.
I try to run the cows to fit the ranch rather than the ranch to fit the cows. I think that works better that way. And ultimately, if it's good for the natural resource, it's good for cattle.
We have fenced off the riparian areas in quite a few of our ranches and put in water troughs. We have done a lot of intensive rotational grazing to help the land and the cattle.
Daryl and Callie's families have been ranching in California since the 1850s. But after they married, they had to build their own operation from scratch. Now they've reacquired ranches that were in the family generations ago, and they've transformed land that had become run down.
My parents really love the land, and we really wouldn't be here if they didn't, because ranching's really hard. And especially when you buy new ranches that really aren't in the best shape, you really have to work hard to get them sustainable and beautiful and working correctly.
Levitt Lake Ranch really didn't have much done to it for about 20 years for the most part, so we put in whole new irrigation systems, built new fences, replanted all the fields just to try to make it sustainable.
They're very involved in partnerships with NRCS, with the Partners for Wildlife, with Ducks Unlimited, with California Rangeland Trust, with the whole gamut. They've been out there front and center looking for partnerships that can help them enhance their ranches.
In fact, the Woods partnered with NRCS to permanently place a portion of their ranch in the Grassland Reserve Program, protecting it from development. In addition, they've restored wetlands and worked with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service to bring Pete's Creek back to health.
I'm seeing a lot of the banks that were once eroded are now healed. I'm seeing just a tremendous diversity of wetland plants along the creek. I'm seeing very diverse upland areas, just an outstanding wildlife habitat.
Well, I definitely know, with the increased irrigation and the increased feed sources that the wildlife, the geese, the deer populations seem to have increased. On the Vina Plains, we have an abundance of vernal pools which host fairy shrimp and a bunch of other endangered plants that are in these areas. Cattle grazing has been very beneficial for those. We've managed them very carefully.
Whether protecting endangered species like those in the vernal pools, maintaining a fish ladder for salmon to get upstream, or installing a pond to provide stock water and wildlife habitat, the Woods have made stewardship a part of their daily ranch life.
In order to have a sustainable ranch, you need to be the steward of the land. And by doing what we're doing, by irrigating and rotational grazing, and really just working with the NRCS and to improve our land, I believe is stewardship.
Stewardship is just like values that you do learn from your parents or grandparents, and it is passed down. Our children watch what we've done, and to them, that's what should be done. And we've just always had a love of the land.
You know, I take quite a bit of pride in knowing that this ranch is going to look like this in perpetuity, not only for my kids and their kids, but their generations down the line, and I feel very good about that.
At this year's Cattle Industry Annual Convention, I had the chance to catch up with the folks from the Leavitt Lake ranches. I'm here with the 2009 Environmental Stewardship Award winner, the Darrell and Callie Wood family and Leavitt Lake Ranches of California. Darrell, how does it feel this evening to be this year's winner?
What an honor. I never expected this, and it's just a pleasure to be here, and I don't think mere words can express our feelings at this point. So,
outstanding. And Callie, I know you made a comment that environmentalism is like values. You pass it on to your children. Can you tell us more about that?
Well, I just believe values are learned from your parents and your grandparents. And when children watch what you do and you're doing the right thing, then that's what they learn to do. They pass it on to the next generation.
What are some of the things that you've noticed that are better about the ranch now than they were, say, 5 or 6 years ago?
Well, for one, the weed populations have gone down dramatically just by the proper usage of cattle rotation and haying and general practices that we've incurred. The whole ranch itself is healthier. That's definitely the biggest thing that I've noticed.
And what would you tell folks about the sheer amount of work that your family puts together in trying to improve the land and its resources?
It's a lot of hard work, but it's paid off pretty well. And we're just so proud to be able to get this award because there were so many great nominees, and we just feel really honored to be able to be selected.
Darrell, I want to ask you a question for folks out there who are thinking about the kinds of things they could be doing to improve their land and their resources. What advice would you give them?
well, to begin with, I would certainly use the experts that we have in our government agencies, such as the U.S. NRCS, U.S. Fish and Wildlife. They have the folks and the manpower to be able to help all ranchers improve what they have and take it to the next level. And I would certainly, not hesitate to ask for that advice. So,
well, it's a wonderful story and some great accomplishments. We appreciate you being here. Congratulate you, and once again, the 2009 Environmental Stewardship Award winners, the Leavitt Lake Ranches from Vina, California. You can learn more about the Environmental Stewardship Awards program and the National Cattlemen's Foundation on our website at cattlementocattlemen.org.